tangent to the circle x squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equals 0. Prove that your g squared equals your c value. Is that okay with you guys? Now, I'm going to show you an example I created on the right-hand side here. Ever see this example here? This is an example of a standard, what's it called, a standard circle that has the x-axis as its tangent. Great. What's the center of this circle? 4, 3, yeah? What's the radius of this circle? 3. Would you agree with that? Now, the other thing, right? So what we're going to say here is that it's always the y value. You get what I'm saying? R and the y value are the same thing, correct? Now, do you remember what we said its value actually is? We actually remember that we're using a GF system. What does your log table tell you the center of the circle is? It does tell you it's minus g minus f. Everybody cool with that? So therefore, what would the radius be? The radius would actually be the absolute value of minus f. Why did I have to use absolute value? What happens if it was a negative y coordinate? You can't say the radius is minus 3. The radius always has to be positive. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our formula. R equals square root of what, lads? Once again, it's on your tables on page 19. G squared plus f squared minus c, yeah? Now, we're going to replace R with what? No, just right here. The modulus of minus f. Because we already discussed that the radius has to equal the y value. But we can't be certain. It has to be the positive. The y value has to be positive though, yeah? So imagine in this case, C3, that would mean that minus f equals, that would mean minus f equals 3, and then it'd mean that f equals minus 3. And likewise, if that was 4 minus 3 instead, imagine I put the circle below the x-axis. The f value would be 3. And what I'm saying is you can't get the modulus of minus 3 is 3. So you have to be certain that your radius is guaranteed to be positive. So having the r value as the modulus of minus f is very important. Now, what can we say about the g squared? We don't know anything about it, so it's just going to be g squared, isn't it? F squared we're just going to leave as, and c we're just going to leave as c. Square both sides. What happens when you square a modulus? Disappears. What happens when you square a square root? And what cancels on both sides? And then what happens when I swing the c over the other side? G squared is equal to c. Okay? It all comes from the fact that when you line up an x-axis tangent, the r value has to equal the f value, the modulus of the f value. Is that okay? Now, let's get rid of all that. Okay. Done. All right. Two circles pass through the points -1, 2, 6, 1. And they have the axis as a tangent. Show that the equation of one circle is this much, and find the equation of the other circle. Okay. So first of all, there's not enough room to do this. Okay, so we're just going to just knock this off. Now we're going to use this formula. Does everybody see this formula up here at the top of the room? Everybody see that? Just a bit of background. Do you remember when you first learned the equation of the line? Do you remember like x plus y equals 5? Yeah? Pick a point that's on that line right now. No, not 6, 1. 6 minus 1 would work. Because what's 6 for x and -1 for y? Does it cause it to balance? It does. What about 3, 2? Is that a point on this line? Yeah. Now, circle obeys the same rules. If you sub in a point that's on the circle, it has to cause the equation of the circle to balance. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to replace x with what? 1. We're going to replace y with 2. Let's go. So we're going to get minus 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 2gx, which is going to be 2g times minus 1, and then 2f times 2 plus c equals 0, yeah? And then we're going to get minus 2g plus 4f plus c equals, I think it's going to be 5 and minus 5 then. Question, how many letters do we have? How many equations do we need? 3. Where are we going to get the second equation from? Yeah, so we do the same routine, isn't it? Okay. And plus, okay, and we're going to get 12g plus 2f plus c equals minus 37. Okay. Anybody care to tell me where the third equation comes from? Yeah. Here? Go on. G squared equals c when the x-axis is a tangent. If the y-axis was a tangent, what would you use instead? F squared equals c. If both of them were tangents, g squared equals f squared equals. But specifically, part 1 gave away part 2. We're going to go for g squared equals c. So have an idea. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these two against each other, and I'm going to get rid of the f. Just want to get rid of the f's, I do, big time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply, see this equation here, I'm going to multiply that by minus 2. And then I'm going to add it to, that guy there, yeah? Now what happens when I, whoa, what's happened there? Okay, what happens when I add downwards? Huh? Go with that. Now, what did we also say? G squared equals. So what am I going to replace there? G is going to change. C is going to change into. Bring it over one side. Plus 69, yeah. Now, what are the factors of 69? Oh yeah, 23 multiplied by 3. So there's our two G values right there. G minus what is it? G minus, G plus 3. Two answers. G is 23 minus 23, and G is C equals G squared. So one of the C values will be 9, and the other C value will be 529. The only thing I'm after now is the two F values, okay? I'll take one of the original equations. Do you see this one here? I'm going to say that 2F equals minus 37 minus 12G minus, and then I'm going to have to plug in, I'm going to do this equation twice, haven't I? If some of you would be so kind as to input the numbers, that'd be brilliant. So whatever answer you get, just divide it by 2, and that will should get us the answers we're seeking. What'd you get for the first one? Minus 145 for F. You what? All right, keep going. Try it out yourselves. Shh. Yeah. Minus 145. All right. Shh. Okay. The F value is minus 145 for that one. And what about the other one? f value of minus 5. Now, we're going to have to check our answers here, okay? So I'm going to have to go back up the top here. And I'm looking at, well, I'm looking at this one here, okay? And I'm actually happy that I'm seeing this. Can anybody tell me why I'm happy to see that as one of the answers? So what's the formula again? 2gx and 2 fy and the c value, yeah? So what we have here is x squared plus y squared, 2g times the, 2g times x, so 2 times minus 3 times x. 2fy, 2 times minus 5, minus 10y, and a c value of. And then it also asks for the other one, which is going to be x squared plus y squared. Double the g value, double the f value, 290, no? And then fine, just put the c value in at the end. And long story short, there's your two answers. T is a tangent from the point 2 minus 2 to the circle x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 10y plus 9. Find two possible values of the slope of t. All right, so once again, I generally like to know what my question looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out the center of the circle. 2gx plus 2fy plus c, agreed? So what's the g value? The g value is minus 3, and the f value and the center of the circle 3, 5, yeah? Because the center of the circle is minus g minus. Okay, for argument's sake, I might just find the radius while I'm here, just to make things a bit clearer in my head. So what's g squared plus f squared minus c? 3 squared plus 5 squared, take away 9. It's going to be 5, isn't it? All right, so what I now have here is I have a rough idea of what's going on here. Okay, so the rough idea is that it's a circle. Its center is at 3, 5, yeah? 3 across and 5 up, and it's going to be, that's a square, that doesn't help, and it's going to have a radius of 5. What does that mean? Does it cross the y-axis? It's 3 to the y-axis, and I have a radius of 5. So you're going to go out the other side, haven't I? And it's actually going to, actually the x-axis is a tangent. How do I know that? 5 up and 5 down. You cool with that? Now, it says the point 2 minus 2. Does everybody see 2 minus 2? 2 across and 2 down. Does everybody have it? That's the point P. Now, here's two tangents for you. I'd say that's a tangent. And I'd say that's a tangent. Agreed? Now, here's what we're going to do now. We know the center of the circle is 3, 5, yeah? Okay. And we haven't got a, what type of object is a tangent? It's a line, right? And we're going to find the equation of the tangent, all right? So it's y minus y1 into m into x minus x1. First of all, what's the only piece of information I have to solve this so far? Fine. So what do I put in? Minus minus 2 plus 2. M value? We don't know, do we? How many m values are we expecting? It's in the question, isn't it? Plural. So we call it m. Then the other part, x, and here, minus 2, yeah? Right, let's keep going. Y plus 2 equals mx minus 2m. Bring it all to the left. Minus mx plus y. What's it? Plus 2 minus 2m. You can do this if you want. What's another possible answer you're allowed? You're allowed the minus 1 version of that. What's the minus 1 version of that? Yeah. Somebody remembers me doing it. Good man. So see those last two answers? They're both correct. Now, what's the definition of a tangent? What distance does it have to be away? Which is? And the other one is also going to be a distance of 5. They're both distance of 5 away. Who can take a guess of what formula I'm going to break out? There you go. I'm going to break out the perpendicular distance formula where D equals AX1 plus BY1 plus C all over the square root of A squared plus B squared. Now, what letters do we know? Let's make a list. Do we know what D is? 5. Do we know what A is? Just M. B? Nope. -1. C? 2M minus 2, yeah? Do we know what X1 is? Nope. It's the distance of the point to the line. If you use 2 minus 2, guess what answer you'd get? 0. Why? Because if it's on the line, then the distance to the line is 0. That's how you know you've used the wrong point. If you get an answer of 0, you know you've used a point that's actually on the line. Okay? Now what now? What did we say it was then? 3 and 5. Okay? And we're going to have to drive all this into the equation. Okay, so let's do that then. Right. Now. Okay. So 5 m times 3 minus 1 times minus 2, yeah? And C value of 2m minus 2. Big old lines. Then underneath, A squared plus B squared. We got M squared plus 1. Okay. I'm just going to reduce it down in size for a minute. So that's 3m plus 2m is 5m. 2 minus 2. Does anybody get 0 on top? 5m plus 0. Minus 7. Okay, give me a look. Did I go wrong somewhere? How'd you get minus 7? Oh, I got it wrong. The y value is 5. Thanks for that, Tom. Sorry, it's 5, not minus 2. And D is 5m minus 7. Thanks for that, Tom. Now, square both sides. What happens? When you square the 5? Square 5m minus 7 by itself. 25m squared, yeah? Minus 70m plus 49. And then m squared plus 1. Cross multiply. 25m squared, yeah? Interesting. Interesting. There's only one tangent. What's the language question? Possible values. Value. Interesting. Did anybody else get that as well? Who said no? What do you guys get when you square it out? So, if you're doing this at home, what we realized that we're only if we continued on our current line, we were only going to get one tangent answer when we should have got 2. This forced us to look for a mistake, and the mistake was located here. See the mx minus 2m? See when I swung it over the other side? Plus 2m. Then when I multiply both sides by minus again, minus 2m, yeah? So this is a quick fix. When you do this in an exam, you just keep going down and you look for any time you have that 2m, what do you need to do to it? Okay. And what this does then is it changes the 5m into what? Turns the 5m just into m. And then when we square it out now, we're going to find a very easy to make that mistake. Might cost you 3 marks or 1 depending on what the marking scheme is. But when we multiply that out, it's going to be different now. So what's going to be m squared minus 14m plus cross multiply 25m squared plus equals m squared minus 14m plus 49. Now what? Is that minus 24 now? Okay, we're going to minus b that. We're not going to even mess around. Will you minus b that for me, Al? So a is 24. B is, what's B? G minus B. Did I do it again, did I? Thanks. And C value? Minus 24. Okay. So minus B. How does it? I'm just sort of committed to the minus B now, I'm afraid. But yeah, good man. It's too late in the day for me to be doing factors. Who got 3/4? And who also got minus 4/3? That's what we're expecting, wasn't it? One negative slope and one positive slope. And you remember at the start of our question, see the way we almost drew it at 90 degrees earlier? The two of those slopes are actually at 90 degrees to each other. So, as it turns out, that one is the, the 3/4, and that one's the minus 4/3. Good job.